Hey, this is Shane, host of Shane Plays. Wanted to let you know about a giveaway I'm doing. I am giving away a sealed Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters Battle for Faerun two-player starter set. This thing is really cool. It comes with 44 custom dice, 38 cards, 2 dice bags, and the complete core rulebook. Everything two players need to play Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters. Now, the way you can be entered into this giveaway is go to Facebook and search for the Shane Plays Facebook page. That's also linked on the main website at shaneplays.com. So go to the Shane Plays Facebook page, and there's two things you need to do. One, there's a post that's pinned to the top of the page that talks about this giveaway and has a picture of the game. You need to share that post, okay? And the other thing you need to do is you need to make sure to like the Shane Plays page on Facebook. That's the two things you need to do. You'll be automatically entered, and then I'm going to choose Monday, October 12th. I'll randomly choose a winner and send you whoever wins. I'll mail it right to you. Now, if you're in the United States or Canada, I'll cover the shipping costs. If you're international, depending on the shipping costs, I may have to reach out and work something out on that. But anyway, the game itself will be free. So remember, go to the Shane Plays Facebook page, like the page itself, and share the post that's pinned to the top about the game to your Facebook friends, and that will automatically enter you into the giveaway. So good luck. I appreciate you listening, and I look forward to further giveaways and more fun geekery on Shane Plays as we continue a journey into the things we love. Thanks so much for listening.
Shall we play a game?
Why, yes, I believe we shall.
Oh, I got a live one here.
Hey, welcome to Shane Plays. Shane Plays, Geek Talk Radio live from Little Rock. Normally we're on 96.5 FM out of Little Rock, 96.5 FM. The Answer. This week, if you're hearing us on 99.5 Faith Talk, there's a reason for that. Due to the football schedule, we're actually on a sister station, 99.5. For the next few weeks from now through November 14th. So if you're hearing this live on Saturday on 99.5 on Faith Talk, don't be surprised. There's a reason for that. It's a temporary adjustment for the schedule, for the football schedule, I think, for Ouachita Baptist. If you're hearing this on Sunday, on 96.5 at 1 o'clock. This is pre-recorded, so don't try to call in or anything like that. So for the next few weeks, it goes live on air on 99.5 Faith Talk out of Little Rock. And then on Sundays, we are on pre-recorded on 96.5. So that's how it's going to work. Call-in number is still the same, 501-823-0965. And you can always tweet me at Shane Plays. So once again, my name is Shane Stacks. I'm the host of Shane Plays. It's Geek Talk Radio, live Geek Talk Radio, that also goes out as a podcast after the fact on, usually I'll get it out tonight or tomorrow on Saturday or Sunday. And we play a week delayed on Krypton Radio. KryptonRadio.com is sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. So don't forget, you can also catch us there. And the podcast is always... can always be found on like iTunes and Stitcher and other fine podcast directories. So one last thing I want to mention, or actually a couple of things I want to mention, but we've got, we do have sponsors. And if I sound a bit off, folks, we've got some technical difficulties. I don't know if it's because we're on 99.5 or what, but I just found out right when the show started that I can't hear the show feed. So I'm kind of flying blind here while Zach is working very hard in the control room to get things sorted out. And I'm also hoping I have a guest, Dave from Tabletopping today. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to hear him, during the show. So we're going to see how this all sorts out. And see what we can figure out here. But in the meantime, I hope you're hearing everything, and hopefully things will work out. It could be due to the fact that we're going out on different frequencies, so we've got, things changed in the studio. I'm not sure what's going on, but hopefully it will work out. But I did want to say we do have sponsors for the show. I'm incredibly blessed and pleased to have these sponsors, but I also have listener support through Patreon. Now, Patreon is... is basically a way for people to support creators that they like. So you can go to patreon.com, that's Shane Plays, or it's patreon.com/Shane Plays, and you could support the show for as little as $1 per show. Now, you don't have to. People do not have to support the show to listen, but it's just as if you like this idea of Geek Talk Radio, you could do that. So at shaneplays.com or it's patreon.com/ShanePlays. There we go. And last, I always have show notes up on shaneplays.com that have all the news links and things like that from the show. So that as you're listening to, you can go to shaneplays.com and you can see the links like, hey, what was he talking about? Or I want to know more. Or I want to follow up after the show. Then you can go to shaneplays.com and there's a post there with all that. Now, I don't know. I'm going to test. I'm not sure what our situation is here as far as what I can hear and what I can't. Zach, can I hear Dave? He's on. Okay. Can I hear him? Dave, Dave, can you hear me?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. I don't believe that I can hear, Dave right now. It looks like we have an engineer in the office right now getting things sorted out. He's come in like Doctor Who to save the day. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to some news while we're working on this to get things sorted out. Dave, if you're listening, we will get you in the mix as soon as possible. This is an unusual occurrence, but they're doing what they can to work it out right now. So we will get you in the mix just as soon as possible, buddy. Okay, so let's get to some news.
Not a problem.
Zach, you'll just have to give me a thumbs up. Did we get the news theme? Did that go out? And I'm seeing that we got the news theme. So those are those hard working news guys on Saturday. I love those guys that come in and work so hard. You know, Kevin Clay was on last week and he was like making fun of me for having typewriters. I don't know what they expect, man. I'm bootstrapping the show, man. That's all I can afford is some typewriters. So, but we're working hard to bring you the best show we can. So if you don't like typewriters, all I can tell you is you don't like this fedora I'm wearing and the cigar I'm chomping like a classic old news guy anyway. So I want to give, first of all, a shout out to I was actually in the Sword Coast Legends Twitch stream the other day. They were promoting some content and stuff like that. And I'm going to try to get this right. I think it's LensNet1234. That's LENZNET 1234. Was like, hey man, I love your show, just out of nowhere. So LensNet, I really appreciate that. I hope you're listening now and hope hearing that you're getting a shout out. Also want to throw out some news that right now there's this thing called Extra Life going on, and that's where gamers are raising money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And D&D, a lot of D&D players and Wizards of the Coast themselves have kind of grouped together to raise money. And the last I saw, they were over $60,000. So you could look for D&D Extra Life or go to shaneplays.com and look for today's show notes post. And there's links in there. And Dave from Tabletopping, who we're going to be talking to here in a little bit, actually just did a 24-hour marathon, and he raised over $3,000 for this. So that's pretty cool. So, let's see. Star Trek Continues. Got a couple of news items regarding Star Trek Continues. One is next week, we're going to have Michelle Specht and Chuck Huber and Kim Stinger from Star Trek Continues will be on the show. So next week at this time, live, they will be on the show talking about Star Trek Continues, answering your questions and that sort of thing. But also, and I mentioned this briefly last week, but I want to mention it again, episode 5 is out. You can go to YouTube, look for Star Trek Continues. There's a link in my show notes. The link is all the place. I think there's a link on Krypton Radio. There's a news article there about it. And the episode is called Divided We Stand. So I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I've actually been kind of holding off in delicious anticipation, but I also wanted to watch it a little bit closer to the cast from the show coming on next Saturday to sort of be a little fresher on my mind. Now, here's a really neat piece of information, a really neat news item that I think fans of fantasy fiction will really be excited about. And one is, or not one, but here's the news item, and it covers 2 or 3 different things. If you're familiar with The Name of the Wind and the King Killer Chronicles from Patrick Rothfuss, it looks like that he is talking with Lionsgate about making those into a movie, a TV show, and a video game. That's pretty cool stuff. Now I know it's definitely a movie and a TV show. There's a blog post that Patrick put up, and it's linked on shaneplays.com. That there's a blog post there, and in there he mentions that one of the things that they talked about initially when they approached him was a video game. I don't know if that's still in the mix, but we've got definitely a movie and a TV show in the work, and he. The blog post is really interesting, goes into his thought process. He had all these people reaching out to him because the previous options expired, so they were up for grabs again. And he really wasn't that interested because he's like, I don't think you could really tell the story in just a movie. So when they approached him with this other method, I think he was kind of more interested. So I'm hearing a little bit of audio on my headset. Dave, can you hear me?
Hey, Shane.
Okay, you're there. All right. What's your name, man? Bobby Gray. Bobby Gray rolled in and saved the day.
My name
Listen,
is David Milton. I'm in Florida.
Yeah, so let me tell you guys, engineers do not get the credit they deserve. Engineers, remember that scene in Apollo 13 where they were like, man, they're running out of air and all we have is like a piece of tubing and a toilet paper roll to save them, and these engineers figured it out. Well, Bobby came in. Thank you very much, Bobby. Thanks for swinging in and saving the day. And we've also got Dave from Tabletopping on the line now. So, Dave, this is live radio, baby. It doesn't get more dramatic than this. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing
cool. Did you on any of these news items? On any of
be on the radio station.
Oh, okay. I think. Hey, Dave, can you hear me? I think Dave's talking with somebody else. All right, we'll bring.
I can hear you. I'm not talking to anybody, Shane.
Oh, okay. I thought you were telling somebody else you're about to be on the radio. So, sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning. I'm really glad to have you on. After the break, we're going to dive right in with you and talk about what you do in tabletoping and role-playing games. On any of these, since I couldn't hear, like basically what happened, the first 10 minutes of the show, I couldn't hear anything. So I don't know, if you were trying to say something I couldn't hear. So on any of these news items that I threw out there, or were any of those interesting to you? Did you want to comment on any of those?
I think there's some kind of delay going on, Shane.
Oh, really? Okay. I got the engineer is trying to talk to me through the window. Said, hold on, let me try to find out. Sorry, folks, this is live radio. This stuff happens sometimes. 1 second.
It's a Skype delay. It's okay.
Okay, they're just saying it's a Skype delay, so I don't know how much of a Skype delay we're having. That hasn't happened before, but if that keeps happening, Dave, feel free to call back into the regular number and we'll get you, just do the regular phone thing. So anyway, back to the thing with the King Killer Chronicles. If people are into Patrick Rothfuss and his novel, he's a really good writer. His characters and stories and his plotting is really interesting. He's got really unique takes on things. They're probably happy to hear this. What I'm most happy to hear about is the video game aspect, actually. So I would love to see Name of the Wind and King, the books that are part of the King Killer Chronicles turn into a video game. So I don't know if we're still having a delay there, Dave, but are you familiar with the King Killer Chronicles?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
I hope they go along with that. I hope Patrick signs up for it. It would be nice to see.
Well, it sounds like it's a done deal. So he had a lot of people reaching out to him. He wasn't that interested, and it sounds like it's done. Like I'm not for sure if the video game part is confirmed, but I definitely know there's a movie and a TV show concurrently.
So what kind of video game did they touch on that? Is
No.
it going to be some kind of MMO or just a regular single shot game or a series or?
I don't know. I mean, given the deep storytelling that Patrick Rothfuss is known for, I would really hope that it's a single player RPG experience, personally.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, either that or one of those what is it, Telltale Games, like that does the Talking Dead, they have the really good storytelling.
Yeah, they do a lot of those, Game of Thrones, Back to the Future, Wolf Among Us, a lot of games like that.
Right. Hey, can you check Dave's level Zach? I'm not sure. It sounds just a tad low. So, all right, and then let's move on from there. I've lost a little bit of time, kind of fooling around with the technical difficulties. So I'm going to try to keep getting through the news here. By the way, Dave, so that usually I welcome people with warm arms, and it was a little bit crazy at the beginning of the show. Thanks so much for being on, and I'm really glad to have you on, and I'm looking forward to talking with you. More after the first break. Yeah,
glad to be on.
Yeah, it's
glad to be on, man.
I love live radio. There's nothing like trying to. Hold on a second, Zach. Yeah, I think it's good. So. Okay, not last, but I got a couple more news items. I'm going to be stubborn and go ahead and go through the news items, even though we lost a little bit of time. There's a new Doctor Who spinoff show coming out in 2016. Now, I think Whovians are a little bit ambivalent on this one. And just so that I can put on my professor hat for a second, even though I'm not a professor, a lot of people think ambivalent means they don't care. Ambivalent means you have conflicting emotions. So you can like something and not like something at the same time and be ambivalent. Zach, our college student, what do you think about that? Have you studied the word ambivalent in college?
No, I have not.
Okay, so let's talk about ambivalent. If one of you, Zach is a sports nut, so I would say if your favorite team makes a bunch of great plays but still loses, you're ambivalent about that game because you love the fact they made all those great plays, but you hate the fact that they lost.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's ambivalent. Doesn't mean you don't care. And to take it back to what Dave and I were talking about the King Killer Chronicles in a video game, ambivalent would be if they turned it into some crazy MMO that had nothing to do really with the story and had a bunch of in-game microtransactions. So we're happy that they made a game, but we're unhappy with the game they made, so we'd be ambivalent. Okay, now that I've absolutely beat that into the ground, the thing with this Doctor Who spinoff is they're taking an existing teen or novel, young adult novel series called, I think, Class, and they're kind of smushing it into the Doctor Who universe. So I think they're, on one hand, people are like, oh, okay, we get some more Doctor Who-ish kind of stuff. But on the other hand, they're like, really, that's what they're going to do? So we'll see how that goes. Once again, the link is on up at shaneplays.com. Now, Dave, I don't know if I know you play a variety of games, even though it's mostly role-playing games on your Twitch channel. The Arkham Knight for PC looks like we're finally going to get it at the end of October after all the disaster when it came out in June. Is that interesting to you at all?
That's DC, isn't it? I think
No.
Arkham Knight is DC. Is it DC or?
Well, by Arkham Knight, I mean the video game.
This is Batman, right?
Yeah. You know how like when they released Arkham Knight in June, it was
I'm not a big. I honestly never got into the DC stuff. I was more of a Marvel guy.
Okay, well this game was like hugely anticipated, and in June when it released, it had so many negative reviews, the PC version did, that it actually dropped out of Steam and they pulled it and you couldn't buy it. And then like the console versions were fine, but this was like a major release from Rocksteady. It was huge. And so finally, June, July, August, September, like 5-6 months later, they're finally getting the PC version figured out. So there's a lot of people that really want to play this game. It would kind of be like... I'm trying to think like what's a big game that I don't know, like it would be like the new Call of Duty or something being fine on console, but the PC version just being an absolute disaster and them pulling it after they released it and saying you can't buy it anymore. So it was a pretty big black eye for them. All right, and here's the last news item I have before the break. All right, folks, listen, this is the kind of stuff I do for my listeners because I love them. I watched the 1987 Masters of the Universe movie on Netflix so that you wouldn't have to. My listeners don't have to listen or watch it because I did it. And Zach, let's tell them how it made me feel. That's how it made me feel. That was Dolph Lundgren bellowing, I have the power at the top of his lungs. That's how it made me feel, Dave.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, he played He-Man in
the mullet, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren with a mullet wearing hardly anything. This is what I put up with for my listeners. I actually enjoyed it. It was I like cheesy old movies and cheesy old TV. I love it. And from that perspective, it was actually pretty good. It was, as I told some friends last night, it was somewhere between the Jill Gerard, Buck Rogers, and Krull. It kind of landed
I remember going and seeing that as a teenager.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw it the last day of school, my sophomore year in high school. I remember renting it and watching it. But it was pretty bad. But I'll tell you, it all made up for it when he held up the sword. And what did he do, Zach? He did this. He shouted this wonderful phrase that we heard. If that doesn't inspire you to watch cheesy 80s movies, Dave, I don't know what will. Really. I mean, come on now.
Makes me want to watch it.
Yeah.
Makes me want to fire it up for the stream and watch it.
You totally should. If you want to watch a practically naked Dolph Lundgren running around with his sword, man, you go for it. And one other thing, this is going to be some deep water fighting words for some people. Dave, you know what I've been doing, and I posted this on Twitter today. I've been watching the Star Trek Enterprise, the kind of pre-Star Trek show. I've been watching it in order on like Netflix and Amazon.
Yeah, I think that was their last series, wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't that their last series?
Yeah, it was the last series, but it was set actually before Kirk's time. I actually think it's a better series than people give it credit for. Now, I know that's fighting words, and there's probably some Trekkies or Trekkers, whatever, out there that are setting their phasers on kill. But listen, it's not that bad of a show. Now, yeah, they took some liberties, and that's not cool with continuity, but the show itself is actually pretty good. But here's what we're going to do, folks. After we're like way off time, but, that's a normal thing. I never keep this show on time anyway. As I like to say, time is a predator that stalks us all our lives. I stole that from Star Trek Generations. I want to tell people about something close to my heart real quick. Then we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Dave from Tabletopping about role-playing games, D&D Extra Life, raising money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and also doing stuff on Twitch. I'm really curious. I've been following Dave for a while now, and I'm curious to learn more about what he does on Twitch. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell people about this Monsters of Todd, which is close to my heart. I had a buddy, Dave, a couple of years ago that passed away, actually, and he is well known in the local band community. And they're doing a thing on Friday, October 23rd at the Hangar in Jacksonville, and also here in Little Rock at the Rev Room on Saturday, October 24th. And they're raising money not only to kind of help Todd's family, but to also raise money for the American Cancer Society because he passed away from cancer. So want to make sure people know about that. You can go to Facebook, search for Monsters of Todd 2, and there's a Facebook event, and there's a Facebook page just talking about it. So, go check that out. It's near and dear to my heart. I'll be there Saturday, October 24th. I won't be at the one on Friday, October 23rd, but it's all ages. The Friday night thing is $10 to get in. There's all kinds of bands, local bands. And then on Saturday night, it's all ages for $20. And there's also going to be a costume contest on Saturday night and everything like that. So make sure to go look at it. It's Monsters of Todd 2. And it's for a good cause. One, a lot of my friends are doing this, but two, we're remembering our friend who passed away way too early. Dave, I know you know this. The people that are bigger than life, it's like how come they die early, right? And this was Todd, right? He was like that. He was just really neat guy. You remember when Taco Bell started doing the Dorito taco shells? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He lobbied Taco Bell for like a year to do that, and had this Facebook page set up for it, and would do all these memes for it and everything. And before they launched him, he got invited to Taco Bell like secret lab to taste them and everything. So he was just really kind of a neat guy. But anyway, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking role playing games and Twitch and all that good stuff with Dave from Tabletopping.
Megawars.net. The classic online space strategy game has returned, bigger and better than ever before. Scout the universe and claim your empire. Construct, customize, and launch dozens of different starships. Battle thousands of opponents online in a team-based competition leading to the ultimate battle of the galaxies. Grab your slot today in one of the most hotly anticipated indie games of 2015. Visit megawars.net and get options only available during our pre-sale event running now. megawars.net.
Privately owned and licensed by the Arkansas State Police, Rock City Alarm Company has been in business since 1996, specializing in sales, installation, servicing, and monitoring of burglar alarms and fire alarms for the state of Arkansas. Rock City Alarm provides service for residential and commercial alarms, and now provides cellular monitoring with remote arm and disarm. Just call John Hardiman at 501-541-8747. That's John Hardiman at 501-541-8747. In business for over 15 years, the Hillcrest Doghouse provides full grooming, bathing, boarding, and daycare services for just about all breeds with knowledgeable and friendly staff, including a licensed groomer with over 10 years experience. The Hillcrest Doghouse uses all natural shampoos, including a pesticide-free flea shampoo. All kennels are situated where we work, which means your companion is rarely left alone, providing the benefit of full interaction with our friendly staff. Additionally, we walk your dog at least 3 times a day to ensure a happy day. Grooming and boarding packages are also available at great prices. The Hillcrest Doghouse is located at 3924 West Markham Street in Little Rock. Call the Hillcrest Doghouse at 501-296-9800. That's 501-296-9800. We're also on Facebook. Find us and like us. Shane Plays Radio is blessed to have sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. However, did you know that you can also support the show as an individual for as little as $1 an episode? Simply go to patreon.com/ShanePlays.
There's my mic. I didn't have my mic on. I was sitting there babbling into the mic. It's just a tad. You know, Dave, here's how things work, man. Like when I think we're about to bring Dave back on. We were on Skype, and I think we're going to bring him back in by phone. But every time, like, man, I got all my show prep done. I'm like, this is going to be a great show. Then we have Gremlins. But anyway, and then when my show prep's done by the seat of the pants, and I barely know what I'm doing, it ends up coming off as a great show. But I'm sure it's a great show anyway. But I'm just talking about. I'm like, But it is live radio, and that's part of the fun of it. I really enjoy the live radio aspect. So, and I hope that you guys do too, so we can take callers and that sort of thing. All right. Anyway, wanted to, I think we're going to be bringing Dave back in. We had him on Skype. We were asked him to call in through the normal number of 501-823-0965, just because Skype, for whatever reason, wasn't sounding great today. Wanted to let people know, if you're hearing this, if you're on 99.5 and you're like, whoa, what is this show? This is Shane Plays. It's Geek Talk Radio. It's normally on 96.5, but due to football schedule, I've been blitzed. see what I did there, Zach? I've been blitzed, and we're over on 96 or 99.5 through mid-November on Saturdays at 1 o'clock, and then the show will play pre-recorded. So if you're hearing this on Sunday on 96.5, then this is actually pre-recorded, so don't call in or anything. So, but anyway, wanted to what we're going to be talking with Dave about is he is if you haven't heard of Twitch is a service. It's a website, an app, and all that. And what people do is they can stream games, and other people can watch the games, and they can chat and interact with the guy playing the games, and they can chat with each other and that sort of thing. Now, it's really interesting. You think that this would be boring, but it's not. It is just absolutely blown up, and people are watching it in thousands. I was in a channel the other day watching a game, and there were 14,000 people in there sitting there watching the game and chatting. Now, what Dave has done is he has used it not so much to play video games, although he does play video games, but he uses it to actually play tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. He plays a game called Savage Worlds, and he uses these virtual tabletops, and he brings his players in, and they go back and forth and play online as if they're sitting around a table, and then he streams it over Twitch, and it's extremely popular. I've been watching his channel for about a year now. Hold on one second, guys. I really hate to do this to the people who are listening. We're having technical difficulties. I see that he's on the phone. Can we not bring him in? Okay, I'm going to ask him to call back. Call him back on Skype if you would. Sorry, folks. Boop, 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 boop. All right, here we go.
I am there.
Man, I have no idea what's going on. I apologize muchly. We like I said, we're on a different station this week than normal, and even though we thought everything was totally sorted out, evidently it wasn't. So I apologize with much apologizing. But so I gave while we were waiting to get you back on. And by the way, the Skype connection sounds better. So maybe it was just that one connection. Maybe we should have just dropped into that. But regardless, we are going to move forward, and we're going to get into the meat of things. Now, I was telling people that what you do is you use Twitch in a different fashion than most people do. And you actually use Twitch to stream virtual tabletop role-playing games.
I do.
Yeah, and you've been doing it. How long have you been doing it now?
I started doing this actually right around 2 years ago.
I was thinking it had been that long. So what I want to do on this segment, and then we'll have a closing segment after our next break. I just wanted to talk about like role playing games in general and which systems that you're playing right now, and which ones you like and which ones you maybe you don't like, or that you've tried and said no, I didn't like that one. Do you have a system that like is maybe your favorite right now, and one that you've tried and you're like I just don't like that one?
Yeah, there's so many good systems out there, Shane. It's like sort of, I kind of want to say that the tabletop game industry is sort of like having a renaissance.
I feel the same way.
You're so used to hearing the big names like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, but there's so many other good systems out there like Savage Worlds and the new Fantasy Age, and it's like a renaissance. There's so many, especially with the help of Kickstarter. There's so many new games that are coming out there's too many games and not enough time, basically.
I hear that.
And my eyes are always bigger than my stomach, and I always get a lot of these games, but I just don't have enough time to play them. But as I started playing in '84, and
that's probably about the same time I started playing, was around in there.
Yeah, I was always a D&D guy, and I always had such a one of those upside down lamps that you put on a dog, so they can't bite themselves and itch themselves. But I could only see D&D. But the last couple years since I started doing this whole Twitch thing, I've started expanding my horizons, and there are a lot more games out there besides just the big names. And
there's so many
that I've learned from that.
Yeah, I actually cut my teeth. I think the first role playing game I ever actually like rolled dice on, not just sitting around and telling stories, but was Traveler. I think
I remember Traveler, yeah.
Yeah, and then I played the Middle Earth role playing. Now, of course, I knew about D&D, but I don't think that was the first one I ever played. But I played D&D pretty early on, and I still love D&D, and I still think it's the game that other role playing games are measured against. To compared to, it's just too big. I mean, it was the one that started all, and in 5th edition, it's getting bigger than ever, in my opinion. So
yeah. 5th edition is great, especially if if you're new to the whole tabletop game genre. 5th edition is like a perfect edition, and 5th edition's really grown on me, and it's probably one of my favorite editions along with 4th, and I just like it because it's kind of like a sort of like a flashback to like when we first started, like a 1st edition advance, maybe mixed between 1st and 2nd, but with some qualities of the other editions that have been taken out of it too. So it's sort of like a melting pot of everything, but with a heavy influence of 1st, and especially for new players, it's probably one of the best editions to get into because it's just so easy to play.
Right. Well, I've seen you play it a little bit, and I was there the night that Miss Betty became Zombie Chow, but poor Miss Betty. Explain Savage Worlds to me? Is Savage Worlds almost like a JERPS that it can be used for any setting? Is that kind of what Savage Worlds is?
It is, yeah. There's a core book. It's by Pinnacle Entertainment, and it is a core book that it touches on everything from modern day weaponry to medieval type of weaponry. Your fantasy has all kinds of like car chases. It has stats for everything, including like tanks and flamethrowers. So it is a universal setting, and then you get the other plugin modules or settings, if you want to call them that. And then you can play stuff like Zombie Apocalypse, or you can do your traditional fantasy. You can do anything. But the core book is really all you need to play, and it's only $10. And it's great.
So how did you end up landing on Savage Worlds?
A lot of people had always requested in the chat, "Hey, have you ever played Savage Worlds?" And I'm like, I bought it and it sat on the shelf, but people had been asking me, are you going to play it? And then I finally broke down and we started playing it, and it's a really good set, and it's up there. It's up there with D&D as a very simple system to play.
Very cool.
I mean, it really is. It's a good one.
Well, what I've seen of it is pretty neat, and I've heard some other people, talk about it. I've never played it myself. Now, what on your Twitch channel? And by the way, folks, you can go to shaneplays.com, and there's a show notes post there, and it's got Dave with tabletopping. The name of his channel is tabletopping. His name is David Middleton, and I've got his Twitter on there. I've got his Facebook. I've got his Twitch. I've got his YouTube. It's all on there. So you can go check this out. You can see his schedule on his Twitch page and all that stuff. So what games, and remember, we're talking about he's playing traditional tabletop role-playing games on Twitch. So people can watch online, and his players are all calling in and in a, in a Skype type fashion, even though it's not, I don't think necessarily Skype that's facilitating the video conferencing. What all different games do you have going right now?
Well, I have 4 games, and I have 5 nights that I stream, but I'm usually on the other 2 days too in some capacity, where they're doing prep or whatnot. But I usually always do Wednesdays. I do a Dungeon Master workshop, and then Thursday I run a Pathfinder game at 8 p.m. Saturday, Friday we do 5th edition Princes of the Apocalypse at 8 p.m. And then on the Saturday, Sunday, and the weekends we play earlier, 4 p.m., which today we have a Titan's Grave game.
Which you actually invited me to participate in, but due to family aggro, as it were, I wasn't able to. So
gotta love that family aggro.
I love my family, but geeks will know what I'm talking about with family aggro. But I love my family very much. So, but yeah, I'd love to, at the very least, play in a one-off game sometime. But I'd love to get on one of your ongoing campaigns. I know we've kicked around maybe doing Numenera. We had on the show, we actually had Shauna Germain and Chris Avalone talking about Numenera recently. So, and I want to talk about this a little bit more after the break. I want to get more into Twitch and everything. But one of the things that intrigued me when I first started watching your stream was you were like, I'm going to make a run at doing this full time. And I don't think, there's probably other people out there doing that. But you're the only stream I think that I follow that said this is my intention to see if I can't just make a run at it. So, and I think that's really neat. I want to talk about that a little bit more after the break. Dave, I'm going to tell you right now, I commit to you, I'm going to have you back on the show because we lost some time today, and I hate that. You're doing a lot of really interesting stuff, so I'm going to schedule to get you back on, but we're going to cover as much ground today as we can. Because I think Twitch as a platform itself is worth a whole show for what it's allowing, like, the gaming community to do. It's really cool. I a lot of times while I'm working, I have Twitch running off to the side, to just kind of watch people play or listen to them play or whatever. So, you're playing D&D now. You play multiple versions. Are you still doing multiple editions of D&D, or are you just doing 5th edition now?
Right now is just 5th edition for D&D, but I've got Pathfinder and Fantasy Age going too. So there is 3 systems being played every week. So, what
is your opinion? I have not played Pathfinder, but I know a lot of people rave about it. And there for a while, it was kind of outshining D&D. What are your thoughts on Pathfinder?
I like Pathfinder. I'm a really rule light type of DM, and I'm not really into the whole, technicality over every single thing about picking something up or doing this or doing that. But I'll tell you what, Pathfinder is actually really good. And the more that I play Pathfinder, the more it's starting to grow on me. Plus, it's a really, popular rule set. And yeah, for a while and in some ways it probably still is, even though it's not the face of the industry, with the name of Dungeons and Dragons. It's probably still one of the most popular games out there.
Well, they took the D&D 3.5 rules and kind of forked it, right?
Yeah,
Is that,
yeah. Monty Cook and a bunch of guys got together, and after 3.5 came out, they put it out with a OGL, which is an open gaming license. And basically, if anything wasn't copyrighted with a name like Beholder or something, they took it and put a whole new game together and fixed everything. And kind of not really fixed everything, but kind of tweaked everything and added some rules that kind of fine-tune the game. And that's where Pathfinder spawned.
Well, that's really
cool. And it's
cool.
been super, super, super successful.
That's really cool. I mean, it's, and some people might think that Wizards of the Coast is kicking themselves in the rear now for allowing something to go out there and basically take sales. But in my opinion, it's actually helped the RPG ecosystem overall. So, like Google, a lot of people understand, it's like, why does Google give all this stuff away for free? Or why do they do this? Or why do they do that? And a lot of people assume that it's because, they're just trying to collect your data. Well, that may or may not be, but Google's opinion is a healthy internet is a healthy Google. The more people using the internet, the more people using Google. So,
and plus it creates competition, which is good for the industry
which
itself.
Is very good for the industry. Exactly. So that right there is part of why I think Wizards of the Coast should actually be happy that they did that open gaming license, because that was kind of led to a little bit of a domino to why 5th edition is now so popular, because the hobby has been growing in no small part to Pathfinder. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. Some Goblins are your friends. Game Goblins is Central Arkansas's premier retailer of Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40K, board games, card games, RPGs, miniatures, and hobby accessories. Call Game Goblins at 501-224-GAME or visit them online at gamegoblins.com. That's 501-224-GAME or gamegoblins.com. Conveniently located at 1121 South Bowman, right on the corner of Bowman and Canis in West Little Rock, and staffed by friendly employees, Game Goblins has expanded their store size, and there's plenty of room for exciting inventory and tables for play space. You'll like that space because Game Goblins has gaming events every day of the week. For all of your gaming needs, I heartily recommend Game Goblins. Make sure to check out their customer loyalty program that rewards you based on your actual purchases. Game Goblins earns your business and keeps it. First-time customers mention Shane Plays and receive $10 off your purchase of $50 or more. Call Game Goblins at 501-224-GAME or visit them online at gamegoblins.com. Tell them Shane Plays sent you. So, back to Dave with tabletopping. And folks, if you're listening, if you're hearing this on 99.5 FM, don't adjust your dial. There's nothing wrong with your set. Basically, what's going on is that normally the show is on 96.5 FM, The Answer, for the next 6 weeks, I think through November 14th, maybe 7 weeks. It will play live or broadcast live on 99.5 at 1 o'clock on Saturdays. And then on Sunday, if you're listening to this on 96.5, The Answer, it's actually pre-recorded. Okay. And then you can always catch the show also on kryptonradio.com and the podcast and that sort of thing. But so if you're hearing this on 99.5, you're like, hey, it's Faith Talk Radio. They're sitting there talking about games and stuff. It's a temporary situation. So, and maybe you'll get to hear the show and you never heard it before and be like, hey, it's a pretty good show. So then it becomes a win-win, Dave. A win-win.
That's right. Get out there and try them tabletop games.
That's right. So, I actually remember playing. There was like a Christian version. I can't remember the name of it. And I don't talk about this a lot, but I am a Christian.
Hey, quick side note from Shane. When I say I don't talk about my faith a lot, the fact that I'm a Christian, I actually do quite a bit in my personal life and in other areas of my life. Here on the show, I don't. The purpose of Shane Plays is just a place for everyone to have fun, talk about geeky stuff, games, comic books, movies, whatever that we love. Everybody's welcome. And I don't want it to have any faith overtones. But let's make no bones about it. I am a Christian, and that doesn't just mean that I go to church on Sundays. That means that I believe in Jesus Christ and what the Bible says. But this is probably about the only time you'll hear me talk about it on this show. If anybody ever wants to know anything privately or outside of the show, feel free to email me at shane@shaneplays.com or Twitter me or whatever, and I will be happy to talk with you about it. And let me say again that, all people of all faiths and all beliefs, in life and listening to the show or whatever, you have dignity. Because we don't believe the same way doesn't make me think that I'm better than you or worse than you or any of that. Okay, it just simply means that I believe in the Christian faith, and whether you do or don't, you are welcome to the show. I'd love to meet you and talk with you, and I'm just so glad you listen. And now on with the show after this footnote.
Okay. But I remember playing as a younger kid. There was like this Christian version of D&D that it would like try. It was like it had all the rolling the dice and fighting monsters, but you got experience points and regained health. Dave, listen, I'm not lying, by memorizing Bible verses.
Uh-huh.
You're like, what?
Really interesting.
So anyway, you never know what's out there. It's just crazy stuff. Okay, so listen, I want to talk to you a little bit. I wanted to give you some props about. I wanted to give you some props on you recently to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network through Extra Life. There's a thing out there called Extra Life that's going on right now, and gamers. And specifically, there's a team from Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, banding together to raise money for these kids through Children's Miracle Network. You just did a 24-hour marathon on Twitch.
I did, man.
And how much money did you raise?
Yeah, the community came together. They are a bunch of rock stars, Shane. We raised a total of $3,110 over a 24-hour period, and that was from October 1st to the 2nd, from noon to noon. And man, it's so humbling to see a community, and especially on Twitch. The Dungeons and Dragons directory is a very small directory. It's really small and doesn't compare anything towards your major games like League of Legends and World of Warcraft and Counter-Strike and all the others, where they have 250,000 to 500,000 people watching. There's usually only about 100 people in this directory, and for this small directory to come together and make $3,110 is just simply amazing. And, it's so humbling to see that happen. And just to see everything from a $5 donation to a $250 donation come in is just, man, it's so nice. Because there are a lot of, shady organizations out there that, say, oh yeah, this is going to take care of this benefactor or this benefactor, but Extra Life is a really good cause. They're totally legitimate, and that's why I want to give my time and effort to them. I mean, it's a great cause, and it's for children, man. I mean, now, it's for the kids.
Well, now you have done more than one 24-hour marathon. I've seen you do several. In the past, you've done them to kind of raise visibility for your Twitch channel and to get followers and that sort of thing. This one you did specifically to help raise money for kids. What is it? And you literally, I mean, you'll take breaks and chat and shoot the breeze, but you will, you literally DM games for 24 hours without sleep and without real. What is that like? I mean, what is your mental?
It is mind-racking, man. Seriously, it is mind-racking. And usually the sessions that I do are 4 to 5 hours, but when you throw, we basically play 2 D&D games, and I rotated them in 6-hour portions. And, I tried to stay on a schedule, and, like you doing the radio show, you have to adjust on the fly.
Right.
And it's the same thing online in Twitch with electronics and people and, all those other variables thrown into the mix. You have to adjust on the fly. So within the first 2 hours, the schedule was basically thrown out the window. But I mean, it was amazing. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons. Greg Bilsland over at Wizards of the Coast asked me if I wanted to be part of the team,
which was cool.
Did some research and said, "Heck yeah, let's do it." And we did it October 1st and 2nd. It was fun. It was amazing.
Okay, so now I do want to ask you. And this is something I specifically want to ask today. I was fascinated about how you do Twitch. And I do not want numbers. Okay, I'm not trying to get into your personal business. But I am curious, now that you've done this for 2 years, is it something that you've been able to basically support yourself with?
No, I'll just be straight out. No, it's nothing that will support you or a family or... there are people on Twitch that do make it, part of their 100% earnings. But no, I've been fortunate enough to save money in the past and, go to college and stuff. And Now, I actually wanted to dedicate a year, 2 years to see if this could grow into possibly something. Uh, but no, it hasn't financially. It's not able to take care of, paying for a house and car and all that.
Right.
No, it doesn't. But, it does help me. It helps me break even with, a really awesome internet connection that's very expensive. To keep a main website up and running, to keep that up. But that's what it's really about for me. I mean, I start back to work in January, but I'm still going to be doing the Twitch channel, same schedule, Wednesday through or Thursday through Sunday. But no, it doesn't support.
Well, you were doing
100%.
some really creative stuff there for a while, like with you were doing the Amazon affiliates and reading
Mm-hmm.
not who ordered what, but kind of the crazy stuff people would order, and that was one of my favorite. But I haven't seen you do that in a while. You may still do it. I don't know. But,
we do it on Wednesdays.
yeah,
There's some pretty crazy stuff, Shane.
Yeah, I've seen
that
some
people
really
buy.
crazy stuff that we probably don't want to mention on Faith Talk 99.5. The phones will light up real quick. So, yeah, I've
There's
seen
some pretty crazy stuff that they've sent me also through the shipping service that they have at Amazon.
Oh,
so,
man.
it's pretty crazy.
Well, hey, I got to do this, and I'm not doing this to make fun of you. I'm doing this to tell people how amazing you are. People, if you go to shaneplays.com, there's a link there to Dave's to his or Extra Life. You know what I'm about to do. If you're,
of course I do.
yeah. So if you really don't want me to, I won't. But I'm doing this to help raise visibility. Okay, so Dave is still raising money for Extra Life. This. I said if he would sing his love for escarpments, and that's a joke that goes back to Lost Mine of Fandelver, because from the starter set for D&D, because there were so many
like a year ago,
escarpments.
Shane.
Yeah. So he opera sings his love for escarpments, and he did that, and I made a donation, and then I shared it out on YouTube with the link to Extra Life, specifically to try to help raise visibility for Extra Life. But we're going to play this live for you on air right now. Is that okay, Dave? Can I do that?
That's fine. No.
Okay, this is Dave singing his love to escarpments.
All right, here we go.
My goodness.
Oh, escarpments, I love your escarpments, and I swear undying love and loyalty to all of the escarpments everywhere.
That was classic, man.
I think we're down to like -10 listeners now.
Yeah, but go search for Tabletopping on Twitch. There's links on shaneplays.com. You can still go support the I'm going to turn down the music a little bit just because we're trying to get all the time we can. We have 1 minute and 20 seconds, Dave, so I got to do show wrap up. I'm going to have you on again because we barely scratched the surface of what I wanted to get into with you. And I'm sorry that you got caught by the gremlins, but I commit to you and that I will have you back on again at the end of October or in November, because there's a lot to talk about here. And I salute you for what you did to help raise money for the kiddos. Now, folks listening, remember temporary station change on Saturdays will be on 99.5 at 1 o'clock here out of Little Rock through November 14th, I think. On Sundays, it will play again pre-recorded on 96.5. You can always catch the show on the podcast. Go to shaneplays.com. The podcast is there. It's also on iTunes, Stitcher, and other directories. We also play tape delayed on Krypton Radio, kryptonradio.com. So you can always catch it a week delayed there, and we're working to get it live. Also wanted to say next week we got Michelle Speck, Chuck Huber, and Kim Stinger of Star Trek Continues will be on. And I want to let people know, if you go search for the Shane Plays page on Facebook, and if you like the page and you share a post there about a giveaway, I'm giving away a game from D&D Dice Masters. Listen to you next week, folks. Thanks so much.
Hey, this is Shane, host of Shane Plays. Wanted to let you know about a giveaway I'm doing. I am giving away a sealed Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters Battle for Faerun 2-player starter set. This thing is really cool. It comes with 44 custom dice, 38 cards, 2 dice bags, and the complete core rulebook. Everything 2 players need to play Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters. Now, the way you can be entered into this giveaway is go to Facebook and search for the Shane Plays Facebook page. That's also linked on the main website at shameplays.com. So go to the Shame Plays Facebook page, and there's two things you need to do. One, there's a post that's pinned to the top of the page that talks about this giveaway and has a picture of the game. You need to share that post, okay? And the other thing you need to do is you need to make sure to like the Shame Plays page on Facebook. That's the two things you need to do. You'll be automatically entered, and then I'm going to choose Monday, October 12th. I'll randomly choose a winner and send you whoever wins. I'll mail it right to you. Now, if you're in the United States or Canada, I'll cover the shipping costs. If you're international, depending on the shipping costs, I may have to reach out and work something out on that. But anyway, the game itself will be free. So remember, go to the Shame Plays Facebook page, like the page itself, and share the post that's pinned to the top about the game to your Facebook friends, and that will automatically enter you into the giveaway. So good luck. I appreciate you listening, and I look forward to further giveaways and more fun geekery on Shame Plays as we continue a journey into the things we love. Thanks so much for listening.